What's up guys, it is StarFlorge here. Today I'm bringing you a brand new video and this is the best low level mage build. Now this is the mage build I found while doing my nightmare solo run with no crafting on my stream, and so many of you have been requesting it not only in the stream but elsewhere, and it is probably, no, I am saying it is the best mage low level build in every scenario, whether you're playing solo or in a party. This is 100% the best low level build, and I can say I have tested this for hours as I have played it obviously on my solo play for absolutely ages, hours and hours and hours. It might suffer if you are playing friendly fire, because obviously Blizzard is a huge AoE, which if you're playing friendly fire you might want to swap out for something else, but hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a problem and you should be able to go with this build. Now let's get into the build. What we have right now is a level 11 build. Now I'll show you how you go through the build and how you go up to this build during the gameplay, and then what you can do further on after this build. But we're starting off with a barrier and also guardian spirit, as that is a lifesaver early game. Nothing in the storm tree yet. Inferno, we're taking Immolate to get flashpoint, but obviously being able to use that Immolate, and going full on out in the winter tree, taking Winter's Grasp with the Winter's Ruin, taking Winter's Stillness to be able to get down to Ice Mine just by itself, Ice Armor, then Blizzard, but with the Winter Winds upgrade. And this is key, you need this Winter Winds upgrade for Blizzard because it helps so much early game. Now, when you level up a bit more, obviously you can swap spec, which is what I did as soon as I got my specialization. But if not, there are a few things you might want to get first. Fade Step with Energizing Step. That is a huge spell, and I did swap out to it in a boss fight that we needed to do. And if you ever want to see this in action, you can go see any of my streams. And then after that, you obviously want to go into Energy Barrage, and then that is the build completely solid, done, having Fade Step and the Energy Barrage, and that would be, I believe, level 14, but by that time I guarantee you would have respect. So I gave you the level 11 build and then showed you the quick level 14, but we'll go back to the level 11 build right there. And yeah, it's absolutely insane, tried and tested for absolutely hours. It does require you to get used to the build, of course, and making sure that you can get around and fighting certain enemies, but there is a general mechanic to this build, which is basically put an ice mine down in front of you. You're obviously going to get ice armor, which is nice, and then you wait for the mobs to come towards you, and then when they get stuck on you, you then just grasp, and then you kind of hit them, and try and run away maybe a little bit when you don't have your mine up, and when you've soon got it up and you think you're at a safe distance for it to reactivate, you can then put it down and rinse and repeat. In some other AoE packs, you can obviously try and get a huge ice mine off, or Blizzard them, which will then chill them to then be able to get a Winter's Grasp. And then Blizzard obviously is a huge spell when going into the AoE because it just gives you a huge slow and low level. That's what you want. Obviously, you want to keep barrier up all the time. Now, the progression for this is obviously as soon as you get to Haven, you need to pick up a Tactician's Renewal, and you can do that at the blacksmith, and then you respec instantly. So before I actually rolled and found this build, I was testing out a few other things which didn't really work, so it's kind of confusing of what you want to take when you are leveling up, because obviously when you take Winter's Grasp with the Winter's Ruin, you're not instantly going to have all of those spells that you want. So you can either take one of these two paths, which I'm going to give you guys. Obviously, you are going to get Barrier. Guardian Spirit is actually the spell you pick up at level 11, unless you're really struggling, in which case pick it up earlier. But yeah, now the first path that you want to go is Barrier, then pick up Energy Barrage, then pick up Immolate, then Flash Fire, and then Chain Lightning. Now at this point you probably will be able to start respecking to be able to get Ice Mine. The second you can get Winter's Grasp upgrade plus Ice Mine, go for that straight away. Just Winter's Grasp, Ice Mine and Barrier will serve you well enough to have the best low level mage build, and solo and in a party. Now the other route that you can take is take Barrier, then go straight into Winter, taking Fade Step with Frost Step, taking Winter's Grasp, and then taking the Winter's Ruin. That's the other step you can take, and then from then on out, you just want to go get the full build. Now, guys, I'll go into some combat and show you how insane this build is. Even at a higher level, this build can deal some insane damage and work an absolute treat. So let's just get right into that now. Right, guys, now let's get into the combat. Now, today is going to be a lot longer than usual because we don't have the full build that usually can destroy targets, but we'll go through this and then explain it more at the end. Obviously, you want to always focus the range units like I am here, a sniper or a wraith, something that has range. You want to kill them first all the time. Always put Ice Mine down as soon as you can. If you put it down on the target before they see you, usually it will go off before they hit you, and then you can follow up with a Winter's Grasp for a huge amount of damage. We finally finished that guy off, absolutely obliterated him, and are starting to move on to the next sniper. Now, we don't get the Ice Mine and we can't really get the range, so what we're going to do is go behind the wall, and therefore the sniper, because he can't see us, will walk forward into it and get away from the melee mobs, so then we can cast a Winter's Grasp. Now, because the melee mobs aren't letting me go at all, we're going to put a barrier here, so then we can just auto-attack the sniper down for a bit of extra damage and put an Ice Mine down to then be able to further follow up later with a Winter's Grasp right there for some huge damage. Taking a hit, so we're going to have to health pot. You always usually do have to health pot once in a while. And then going back, because there are so many mobs, putting down a barrier, we really need to kite them. You need the space between you and them to be able to cast spells, because as you see, even putting an Ice Mine down, we got stuck. Putting a Blizzard down so that all 4 of the melee mobs, because there are so many of them, get slowed, so then we can hit this sniper and get a huge Winter's Grasp hit off, leaving us with just melee, which is where this build excels. Putting an Ice Mine down, only freezing 2 of them, but it's enough to be able to get some hits off. Putting down a barrier, which lets us also get another barrier because we had the flashpoint, still getting auto attacks because of the barrier, jumping around to be able to get away, and then put another barrier down with another Ice Mine into a 3-man freeze, which is huge for us, and we've still got the barrier up, so we're able to cast another Winter's Grasp on that frozen target. Running around getting another chill Blizzard off, and chilling is obviously really useful with the Winter's Grasp and making sure enemies are slowed, putting the Ice Mine down and 2 enemies are frozen, but we also got the flashpoint, so then we have another one to freeze the other 2 that are closing in on us. Now, I wanted to Ice Mine here to be able to Ice Mine all 4 of them, but it bugged out, and this can sometimes happen. So what I did is went over a bit and just spammed it, because I usually find this is the best way to do it, and therefore we cast Ice Mine about 10 times in a very short amount of time, getting a 3-man stun again, a Winter's Grasp for huge damage on this one target, and then Blizzard so that we can run away and close, actually gain some distance on these targets. As you can see there, a Winter's Grasp onto a chilled target for some huge damage, and this one is pestering us, so we're putting an Ice Mine down, hoping to get the 2-man freeze, and we get it off, quickly finishing that last one off, and then getting down this last target with a huge Winter's Grasp to kill them both. Very intense, as it always is low level when you don't have so many spells, but let's get into kind of more of the details and explain just what happened. Obviously, you want to focus down the ranged units, Ice Mining first and then Winter's Grasp. Now, the problem with this can sometimes be you pull melee mobs, and what you do when you're pulling melee mobs as well as range, you want to get as far away from the mobs as you can, because Blizzard, Winter's Grasp, even Ice Mine all have cast times, so when you use them, you want to make sure you use them without being hit. And obviously, you can see what I've done. You can cast barrier and then just start hitting a target while you're getting hit, because your barrier is soaking the damage. Blizzard is a huge great spell in terms of when there are lots of mobs that you need to slow to be able to get further away. This build is all about creating distance from the target and maintaining that distance, being able to get an Ice Mine off, and then those Winter's Grasp, which is basically the damage of this build. Once you've done that, you've basically mastered the build. It does sometimes take a while to get used to, and other certain mobs will be harder to deal with than others, but low level, this build, I've never really had a problem with the fact I am all ice. Basically, that Immolate is there just in case you encounter a mob that is immune, but if you do, it's usually only when you're encountering a boss going more towards Skyhold, so make sure you take a tactician's renewal a lot if you are going to bosses, because you always need to change your build then. Also, one thing you might have noted, I jump a hell of a lot, and I've explained this before. It's basically, it gets animation cancels and moves you faster, which is so key. Now, just before we end this video, if you want to see this build more in action and see what I do with it, go and look at some of my streams. I believe it's like 3 and 4. This build is definitely in, which will show you really how this build works. I hope you have all enjoyed this video. Leave a like, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and I will see you next time.